Coming up now on GMU at 5, a wildfire shuts down I-15 just outside of St. George. See what it means for drivers going through the Virgin River Gorge.
This is pretty terrible. I mean, so the source of the air pollution now is really the wildfires all over the West Coast, and it's a record-setting wildfire season.
And harmful air across much of our state, what doctors say to avoid while these conditions last.
And then police arrest a man suspected of robbing a credit union in Sandy. Hear how police believe it may be connected to another robbery.
Plus, we continue to see some heavy rainfall in southern Utah. I'll explain more on Good Morning Utah.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 5 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Sarah Martin.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time is 5 o'clock on this Tuesday. We start with what's new this morning. A wildfire burning near the Utah-Arizona border shuts down I-15 in both directions. Check out this cell phone video from a driver there on the freeway. According to the St. George News, what's called the Lime Fire broke out last night in the Virgin River Gorge. It's burned over 400 acres, you can see right up to the road. So far, it's unclear when I-15 will reopen. You can see that smoke from St. George roughly 20 miles away. Firefighters say this is the area's third major fire in less than a month.
And this morning, record heat and drought fueling a number of wildfires in our western states. Fire officials say we have a long way to go the rest of this summer. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
This morning, new accounts from the front lines of the massive firefight in the west. The extreme heat and record drought supercharging 58 major fires across the region. The Beckworth Fire north of Lake Tahoe, California, scorching about 90,000 acres. At least 20 homes destroyed. Residents forced to flee with hardly any notice.
Those flames were coming at us like the headlight on a freight train.
We just left everything. There was nothing we can do. We had to get out.
More evacuations in Mariposa County, where the river fire now threatens a critical route into Yosemite National Park.
I hope everything is still there when I get back.
In southern Oregon, the Bootleg Fire has been threatening a major power grid that connects Oregon and California. The fire doubling in size every day for 3 days. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Difficult to see that video. And also this morning, when these new wildfires break out, Utah is ready for them. A new study shows Utah ranks 5th in the nation for wildfire preparedness. While Utah faces severe drought and rising temperatures, data from the Insurance Services Office shows Utah is prepared for these wildfires. To determine the ranking, data analysts looked at each state's fire departments, water supply, emergency communication systems, and community prevention.
If you spent any time outside yesterday, you may have felt the impact of our poor air quality firsthand. This is a live look outside right now in Salt Lake City. A little dark to see that haze right now, but it's definitely there. The smoke from these wildfires burning out west paired with the heat wave creating hazardous conditions across Utah. During the summer, there's two major types of air pollution Utah's are dealing with. The first is ozone pollution. The second is particulate matter. We're used to hearing about that during our winter inversion, but now with these western wildfires, it's become a summer threat as well. When particulates enter your lungs, you can feel immediate effects like wheezing, coughing, and difficulty taking deep breaths.
Beyond the lungs, those really fine particles then go from the lungs into the bloodstream. And then they're all over the body. And that's when you get effects of air pollution that we don't often think of.
This doctor says there's an increased risk of clotting, strokes, heart attacks, and heart failure. Anyone who's exposed for an extended period of time could get sick. So you're encouraged to stay indoors as much as possible while these dangerous conditions linger.
So let's check our smoky conditions. Meteorologist Cesar Cornejo back with us today. So Cesar, how long before all this smoke clears out?
Well, Brian, it's still looking pretty bad so far right now. We can expect to maybe see it by midweek as we start to get moisture moving into our area. So far right now, we see that looking at West Valley, we see some of the cloud cover up top, but the Wasatch, normally you could still at least see some kind of silhouette. Right now towards the surface, we're just seeing a lot of smoke, and that's unfortunately what we've continued to deal with. So far right now, we see plenty of shower activity still moving down towards Arizona. It's following where the moisture is going, but we will return with some more moisture. Let's take a little bit of a closer look with Storm Tracker radar right now. We got to see some rain over in St. George, something we haven't seen in quite a bit, so that's something that's really great. Unfortunately, because of the extra moisture that we are going to get, we're expected to see some possible flash flooding in a lot of areas in southern Utah. So far right now, also, temperatures are very mild to start off the morning. We're seeing temperatures around the 80s, 70s, and even 90s in St. George. So again, even though we don't have that excessive heat warning, it is still very warm out there, so just keep that in mind. Also, taking a look at traffic, we're expecting to see around the Wasatch Front pretty clear conditions. There's one incident over towards parts of I-80 over into Willa County, way over west, but not really seeing any other slowdowns as we're looking at drive times between Salt Lake City and Ogden, right around 30 minutes for us in both directions, and between Provo and Salt Lake City, right there near normal drive times for both directions for us. Over to the desk.
Thanks, Caesar. Now to new developments in the murder of 53-year-old Masako Kenley. Prosecutors have charged her alleged killer, 75-year-old Willem O'Reilly, with murder. O'Reilly is also charged with felony discharge of a weapon and obstruction of justice. The charges coming the same day as Masako Kenley's funeral yesterday. Kenley was first reported missing by her husband on July 3rd. Her body was found along the Jordan River. Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill says he knows how much the community cared about Kenley.
Anytime there's a loss of life in our community, it is going to impact not only us as a community at large, but those individual members for whom those are family members.
Kenley's obituary says her greatest joy was in being a wife and mother. As for the investigation, District Attorney Sim Gill says O'Reilly's initial court appearance is the next step.
And in Sandy, the SWAT team got called out to help police arrest a suspected bank robber. Police shared these photos from that arrest. They arrested the man suspected of robbing the Mountain America Credit Union on 94 South on July 2nd. Right now, it's unclear who they arrested, but they say another Sandy credit union got robbed yesterday, and police believe the two are related.
It appears fewer Utahns have gotten the COVID-19 vaccine than previously reported. The Utah Department of Health is now reporting Utah did not reach the vaccine goal of 70% of adults with at least one dose of the shot. In a statement released yesterday, the Health Department says there was an error in how it was interpreting some federal vaccination data. The Health Department says it was mistakenly counting some doses administered by federal agencies like the Department of Defense and Veteran Affairs more than once. Right now, 67% of Utah adults have at least one dose of the vaccine. Governor Cox previously celebrated the state supposedly reaching its July 4th vaccine goal. But yesterday he released a letter apologizing for the error, saying in part, while federal data sharing has been extremely difficult, this one's on us. Our data team is devastated and embarrassed, and so am I.
And Intermountain Healthcare is now closing more than 24 pharmacies. They're closing 25 retail pharmacies as part of an agreement to transfer prescriptions and inventory to CVS Pharmacy by August. Intermountain says it will affect pharmacies in areas with low demand. So if the change impacts you, Intermountain says you'll receive a letter explaining what to do moving forward. And happening now, UDOT is starting its final push to make Bangerter Highway feel more like a freeway. From Riverton to Salt Lake City, UDOT is removing stoplights at 7 intersections and transforming them into freeway-style on- and off-ramps. UDOT says once the changes are complete, the drive from Draper to the Salt Lake Airport will shave down by 20 minutes. To see which intersections are being looked at next and how you can weigh in, just visit our website, abc4.com.
That sounds pretty nice. 5:08 now, coming up on Good Morning Utah. Utah repopulating its lakes with fish. Hear why wildlife officials say dropping those fish by air is so much more effective.
Joe Ingles helps hand Team USA its second straight exhibition loss. Plus, we'll go high diving in Park City. Those stories coming up in your morning sports report.
And don't forget, staying informed has never been easier. We've got an app with all of your local news headlines. Download from your app store or scan the QR code on your screen. We're right back after this.